All right, so now let's talk about Raw. All right, so before we start Raw, and I'll lead and then you follow.
Okay.
Because you have things that you miss out on. So it was announced, amazingly announced, 3 hours before Raw started, that Drew McIntyre has COVID. This is the first time in WWE history the word COVID has actually been announced, because that's why Roman Reigns didn't fight at WrestleMania, was because of COVID, but we weren't allowed to say that.
That is why Undisputed Era had been gone for randomly 3 weeks of TV when the brand shit all over them. And while some other people have not been seen, is because of COVID. Now, it is important to note, and it is a weird notation, that Drew has tested positive for COVID-19, which means he is in isolation, but he is not showing any of the major symptoms associated with COVID. So the idea is that essentially he'll quarantine for 10 days. On the 11th day, if he doesn't pop for any symptoms, they're going to retest him again. And if he tests negative for it, then he will be cleared.
So prior to starting the show, we were talking when we had everybody down for the draft. And Dad said, I believe that Joey is right about his assessment of Raw. And
we said hold it, and now Joseph's going to give it.
So I said to Dad, well, if Drew has it, how many other people in the roster have it? And I'm going to guess half the roster, because let's talk about this show. Okay. If you were doing for matches, points for matches, you'd make a lot of matches if you had some of these people.
As soon as I saw this, there were people that I pointed to and went, okay, who was on last week's show that might have just died? We know Drew has got it. Drew is a stud, so he'll probably come back from this. However, I do want to note that like Maynard from Tool, I believe, said he was suffering like lung damage and shit from when he caught COVID. So even if you are a stud, you can still get sick. Who did he come into contact with last week of these legends? Hulk Hogan.
The legends!
Hulk Hogan, Jimmy Hart, Keith Lee. Every single person on the stage that was not 6 foot apart when he walked past all of them, sweating all over them. Who
Goldberg.
else?
Oh,
Goldberg! Oh my God! Look at all of these people.
And Goldberg was supposed to be on this show. Anyway,
and the thing that I like though is that I do want to say I liked Drew's promo that he gave that we'll get to in there, where he said, "Look, I'm taking it seriously. This isn't a joke. Try and take it seriously. Do your social distance. Do your PPE. Take care of each other because it's real." Okay. And that, I think, was a good statement for the champion to say, because now he can speak from experience.
Okay.
If they booked this just so that way they could have some COVID shit out there.
So, Triple H is on the show.
Recap. Randy decimates all the old fucks. It's just embarrassing as the second time as it was the first.
Okay, Triple H comes out. I hated the chanting more than I ever hated the chanting, because they're chanting Triple H, and so
Triple H comes out and he goes, I still got it. There's no one in the building.
I wrote, Randy interrupts Triple H. At least it stopped all the fake chanting. Drew has COVID. RKO wants the belt. Or be number 30. Make the right decision.
Randy calls out Drew, who has COVID. Bad idea.
Triple H approves of RKO burning people alive. He likes it. However, he does not approve of making legends feel bad.
When did Randy kick the Big Show in the head and put him out? Oh, that's right, 14 months ago. Triple H is now upset, calls Randy a prick. My wife goes, yeah, he is. Randy and Triple H have been doing this for 20 years. 20 years we have seen Orton and Hunter.
RKO tries to go to match out of Triple H. Or is your wife not here to pull the your balls out of her purse?
Triple H punches Randy. Randy goes back up the ramp. So Randy and Hunter, I guess, because that's what Randy says. He goes, guess that means yes. Byron Saxton looks like a digital de-aged version of himself on this show. I don't know why. His face never moved from his head, and his head moved.
I was too busy looking at my computer typing.
They recapped the Flair thing. It made me angry the second time. And I'll tell you why. Because I called it last week in a way that I didn't realize until I got home and I started rewatching and listening to stuff of... I thought the story was that Rick tripped Charlotte because he wanted to show Lacey he was DTF. That's what I thought. They were trying to say they don't know why Rick tripped Charlotte because maybe Rick meant to trip Peyton and just got out of place. Which means Ric Flair is a senile old blind bastard who might have accidentally tripped someone who doesn't look like the daughter that he helped birth.
Charlotte's not nice to her dad.
Oh my God.
Hey, my dad knows I'm competitive. I'm about to have a match. Why are you even talking to me about my dad right now?
Oh my God, yes. The announce person says, hey, I want to talk to you about last week. And she goes, great, why are you asking me about my dad? Well, your dad was on the fucking show last week, Charlotte. Did you notice they redid her makeup to evil Charlotte as opposed to nice Charlotte? So, oh my God.
So now we have Charlotte versus Lacey. I do enjoy Lacey's sailor girl outfit.
Lacey is apparently a harlot now. I'm sticking with what I said last week, is someone in production, I'm looking at you, Kevin Dunn, probably tried to bang Lacey, and she shot them down, and they went, all right, you're going to get buried.
How old do you think Lacey is?
34.
31.
Okay.
Her makeup made her look like she's 50.
So, I have a notation for that we're going to get to later, but oh my God. I wrote down, her makeup looks like it has been sandblasted from a bumper of a crashed car. Her body was tan, and they did her makeup in white, so she had this hard line right across her jaw and her face that showed the separation of her makeup.
We're not supposed to notice that.
And her mouth was bright red, and the first thing they do when they hit the lockup is they smear her slut makeup across her face, and I just was like, why are you doing this to this girl? This girl was she was
Southern
your
Belle.
star, your Southern Belle a year ago. And she was clearly Vince's wet dream because he was all about it. And now she's just, I don't know what they're doing to her.
So I then wrote, seriously, Rick is coming out? Are we going to make this about a daughter who doesn't want her coworker having sex with her dad, who's 42 years older?
Yeah, Ric Flair is still
commercial.
Dirtiest player in the game.
Commercial. We know COVID was in the locker room. Why is Rick out here?
Yep, because Rick will die in the ring. And you know what? COVID might kill him.
In the ring.
In the ring. Okay, so
now let's talk about the match.
There was nothing fucking good about this match.
It moved at half speed. And Rick helped Lacey win.
I have never I like Charlotte, and I have seen Charlotte do great stuff, but I have never understood why everybody just loves Charlotte, because I watched this match and was like, Charlotte's not very good. It's the people she works with that make her look very good.
This match
she cannot ring general a match at all. No. Like, it was so slow. It was so awkward. They did the same moves twice at one point. And the thing is that they didn't miss those first moves. It was like watching Sasha and Carmelo from a couple weeks ago. They just did the same match halfway through again. So I wrote down -1 star. What the fuck was this? Oh, that's right. Rick is definitely DTF because he screws over his daughter and celebrates with Lacey. And Lacey gives him a big old smacker and runs up the ramp, and Rick's like, what are you going to do?
He got his blue pills updated. I gave this match 1.5 stars for some reason.
This was a freaking just train wreck.
So then we had Miz and Morrison and Sheamus and Keith Lee backstage.
Recap, Keith Lee and Drew. Hope Keith doesn't have COVID. When we were doing this, I said to Ron and Joey, I was like, so Keith Lee's not staying on the board round 1. The question is who's going to get Keith round 1. Truthfully, my pick was going to be Keith Lee because of such high hopes with it, but I knew that if I picked Keith, he would still Rhea from me to get back at me, which means I would have had to trade him Keith to get Ripley back because I wanted her so much. And the only thing I could hope for was if nobody took Keith Lee in round 1, he was damn sure going to be my number 1. And the fact I rolled a 20 on the D20 roll solidified the fact that my game plan was get Ripley so he doesn't screw me, knowing he's going to take Keith. But if he sleeps on Keith to get fucking Miz, I'm snagging Keith Lee off the bat.
Yeah. No, that was exactly what was going to happen.
Sheamus says, Drew says you're cool, so we cool.
I said, going to be a tag match. Sheamus and Keith are bros now? Question
I wrote
mark?
down, means Keith is fucked. Miz and Morrison ruin the show by talking. They do the correct. as fast as they can get it in.
I just ignore
it
that.
It came out of nowhere. I can't ignore it because it's like nails on a chalkboard. Okay.
Jeff Hardy match.
The only thing I can say is that Miz and Morrison are the only heels that are doing heel shit right now.
True. Jeff Hardy match.
Nope.
Okay, so
I go immediately to Keith Lee and Sheamus, which actually made sense.
Oh, well, then you missed. Let me tell you what you missed.
The only thing I will say about this real quick on the pre-tape, which was good that showed... I didn't catch it until afterwards when they came back, but it made sense of Miz and Morrison go, all your bros now? All right, well, you know what? How about me and John and me versus you and him? And Keith Lee says, yeah. And Sheamus is like, what? Like, when did you speak for me?
Oh, I missed that.
Which made sense later. So, I didn't catch it the first time. Caught it the second time.
So we now have Jeff Hardy coming out and pumping up the imaginary crowd. Love it when he does this. And here comes Elias. My first thought is, why is he going to wrestle Elias again?
Because he ran Elias down with a car.
Okay, never mind. It's going to be against Jackson Riker. Because Elias has hurt his pinky, or his thumb, playing guitar on his new album. So he can't wrestle because
That's pretty heelish.
He hurt his thumb. So it's Riker versus Hardy. Jackson wins by shenanigans. So Riker Jackson beats Jeff Hardy in the corner with a roll-up. Okay. Now it's Hardy versus Elias. Because Hardy goes...
This happened a lot on this show of people who just wrestled each other.
Yeah, because of COVID.
So
because half the locker room was missing. COVID, let's have double matches. So Hardy's like, oh, Elias, he beat me in like 2 minutes. You still haven't beaten me. Your protege's better than you.
They ain't wrong.
And then Elias is like, don't help me. I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then his magic thumb was better. He wrestles. Whisper in the Wind missed completely. Absolutely boring match. About 3.5 minutes. Jeff wins. And then Elias goes, what the hell? Why didn't you help? You told me not to.
Mm-hmm. So they're already breaking Riker and
1 star
and Elias apart. Because Riker, look, we made fun of it last week, but we also talked about it, and some really crazy shit in the world happened since then of our show last week. Nobody's right and everybody's wrong when it comes to a lot of this crap. Is it fair that he got derailed because attaching himself to some stupid stuff while other guys attach themselves to other stupid stuff? It's awkward for it. Riker's not bad.
No.
And getting him back on track
it's
after
good.
The disciplinary part of it is fine. I don't think that disciplining him is going to change his worldview on anything.
Nope.
But maybe everybody's going to have to eventually do this, okay? Because we can't keep doing this. So I'm not going to rip on him for believing or retweeting the beliefs of something that I don't have, but also not damn other people for tweeting a side of a belief that I might have to a point that goes against the other side of things.
Right.
This is a show of two people who can do this because we have two separate things, but when it comes to that side of it,
so here,
as long as he himself doesn't believe the horrible things that is attached with this particular group, cool. If he is in fact closeted of one of those people, maybe you should have kept him off TV.
So he can, if he wants to spread his belief on his private Twitter outside of work.
But is it his private Twitter if he does it under the name Jackson Riker?
Right, exactly. If he can, it is you're right, because there are many fans of wrestling who are not happy that BLM can be on people's arms.
That's why I said,
exactly.
On the flip side of that, with Cedric Alexander, I know what he has, and I've seen his account as well. Both groups have people attached to it that are guilty of
either
bad
all or
things. It has to be all or nothing for this.
Yep.
And like I said, as long as he doesn't
wear a white sheet to the ring.
Yes, I'm trying to dance people. Not because I want to alienate anybody, but just because I don't want to go too far.
So let's talk about Keith Lee and Sheamus's Brofest against Miz and Morrison.
Speaking of which, the pasty white guy and the black dude had a fucking amazing match that made sense for once.
They were having fun.
Oh, yeah.
But they hate each other.
Oh, God, no. This was great. Lee was laughing. Now this is the part I want to get back to with this. I wrote down, did Lacey's makeup rub off on the match?
Yes, it did.
And I wrote down, nope, that's Mrs. Spraytan. Because
Really?
it got rubbed off on somebody else.
I said, Dad, I said, look, the girl's makeup is still in the ring.
I don't know if it was Lacey's makeup that got smeared across the ring, but I'm pretty certain it was Mrs. Spraytan. Guys, I know the gyms and everything are closed, and you're doing the spray tan, but Pete Dune has proven that there is a point that goes too far.
And we have been to enough live matches. We know that they change out the mat between matches.
The fact that they didn't care about that and left that like piss stain in the middle of the ring was so distracting.
It was.
Okay, so
but they found something to keep our distraction away.
I do want to talk about the fact that Lee referenced Dumb and Dumber in reference to Morrison, and then I took a note because I had to look it up. Dumb and Dumber came out in 1994. Keith Lee, don't let them write things for you.
Right.
Keith throws the injured Miz to Morrison and says, "Get him in here." Oh my God.
And then where did he throw Morrison?
Across the fucking ring. Keith Lee spear chucks Morrison into the turnbuckle and then shoulder checks him up into the turnbuckle, which breaks it out of the post that flies up. And Keith Lee goes, "Oh shit, did you see that?" If that was planned, awesome. Because it
looked real.
It looked so good. And Keith Lee's reaction was genuine, where he was just like, "Ooh, I bet that hurt."
And Sheamus was just like...
Yeah, Sheamus was just like, okay.
And then you see something you never see. They went to a commercial.
So they go to a commercial break, and then they come back, and the ring crew is repairing the turnbuckle.
Which you never see. You never see them dudes there.
Never see, yes. The
Oompa Loompas were on TV.
Yes, I was actually going to make that reference. Awesome. So then Sheamus throws Miz back into the other side of the turnbuckle with Lee's help. It doesn't pop, and Sheamus goes, "Good try, fella." It was awesome. It was awesome. Because he was basically like, well, if you did it, I can do it, and we can do it together. And then it didn't happen, and he's just like, whatever.
So at some point in every tag team match, it's tag team match 101. You have a face in peril.
Yeah.
That's the face in peril.
This went the opposite way.
Well, no, there was a face in peril.
Well, okay, yes.
But it's weird to say Sheamus was the face in peril.
I almost would say that I kind of felt like... I felt like this was the match with two people that we should have gotten when Lee challenged them to a 2-on-1 handicap match, because both Miz and Morrison did a good job, and I'm sorry I'm praising Miz, everyone. They handled their position of they bit off more than they could chew in these two guys, and these two guys were out there and just showed that you're not going to beat us. Yeah. You know? So and Sheamus took the match and he was the feeder, and he looked fine.
Yeah, I wrote Sheamus face in peril, but in this case it makes 100% sense. Then Morrison did some really nice gator rolls to get back into the corner.
Yeah, he did good. I mean, this was awesome.
Hot tag by Lee.
Lee destroys
everyone.
Everyone. Calls for the Spirit Bomb. Sheamus tags self in. Lee laughs at Sheamus. Sheamus does Broad Kick. Winner, Sheamus and Lee. They hug it out after. 2.5, 3-star match.
3 stars.
Like, I gave it 2.5 because I missed a little bit of the big spot in the middle where Miz took Morrison took back over the corner of the match for a minute from them. But overall, I like this. I go to backstage with Hunter.
Yep, gotta respect.
Hunter came here for a different reason than Randy. Never states that reason. Never stated why he came.
Nope.
He thinks Randy needs to be taught a lesson about not disrespecting the legends. Didn't he smash most of them with a sledgehammer? Also, Triple H has a match a year ago. Mm-hmm. He is not a legend like the rest of the guys. Okay? Sorry.
Oh, look. Lee and Sheamus are fighting in the ring.
Match 3, ? Back from commercial. Keith Lee and Sheamus, no longer bros. Now they're fighting. Bell rings for a match. What the fuck? Announcers at ringside are equally as confused as I am. Oh, that's right. Sheamus didn't get in the Broad kick. Oh, Sheamus got in the Broad kick and the Irish Curse Backbreaker. He has to get in the 10 beats of the Bowery and White Noise. Oh, look, he does the 10 beats of the Bowery.
Oh, look, Keith Lee's are way better.
Keith Lee grabs his hand and it goes, and pushes his hand out and goes, nope, you're going to swap positions and we're going to get in here. This is much better. They teased the Spanish Fly for the second week in a row off the top rope between Lee and Sheamus. They don't do it. I looked at my wife and said, thank God they didn't do it. Don't have that man do that every week. Right. It's going to take away from him doing it. He needs to not do that until WrestleMania again. They beat the shit out of each other. Keith Lee hits him with the Spirit Bomb. Winner 1, 2, 3 in the middle. Honestly, they had a fucking 3-star little mini match.
So I looked at
They hug it out again.
I go, it's like a 1.5 star match. He goes, look how tired they were.
Yeah.
They were pouring sweat before they started. So I bumped up 2.5.
Which makes me hope that neither one of these guys have COVID and are sucking wind because they can't breathe.
Because it did
We're going to
like
continue to make the joke.
Well, that's not the joke, because a lot of people looked a little slower.
A lot of people look tired on this. And the thing I liked is they did the typical bromance thing where after the match, Keith Lee goes, and Sheamus smacks his hand out of the way, and Keith Lee goes, and Sheamus just grabs him in a bear hug, and it's like, all right, fella.
Dad fast forward that part. I missed
it. So
it.
now we have the two guys who were hating on each other who are now broing it up because, let's face it, they had to bro it up because Drew's not there. Okay, recap. Drew and Goldberg and the Lee match. Again.
But hey, at least Drew fixed Goldberg's screw up. So here's what happened.
Yes, he did. McIntyre says that he accepts Goldberg's challenge at the Rumble despite COVID if everything goes well.
So here's what happened. We now know what happened now that it's all been done. So last week, Drew comes in. We know that the show had already been pushed and things were screwed up.
Because WWE has been given, like, I don't know, enough rope to hang themselves with, essentially, when it comes to live TV from USA.
So, because they used to get those extra 20 minutes. They don't get them anymore.
Yeah, no.
So, what happened was, Drew was supposed to come out and talk about the legends and talk about respecting the legends, and then Goldberg was supposed to have interpreted that as disrespect. And
they forgot to rewrite Bill's promo when he walked out.
Bill, the professional that he is, memorized his script, kept with the script, and can't go on the fly.
Yep.
Bill can't go on the fly. So Drew tried to screw it up and goes, you were trying to read my mind. You put words into my mouth, things that I didn't even say.
Yes.
That's your opinion. And then, so we moved on.
Drew says, I'll take it. And did you notice that they did make sure to reiterate the fact that Bill said for the belt?
Right.
Okay. So, again, I thought it was a joke, and I hate the fact that it might be a joke, that it looks like the big rumor right now is that they're trying to book Goldberg to take the belt from Drew to maybe have Goldberg and Roman in the main event at WrestleMania. Recap. Backstage, Randy cuts a promo about being evil.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's right.
He tries not to laugh at his own shit.
Oh, no, disregard. Let's talk about the things you missed.
Oh, God.
So Riddle is babbling about pizza to Lucha Underground.
That might have been funny. I missed Riddle. I should have gone for him.
Lucha Underground's like, watch your back. Look, you need to watch your back around here. And then he tries to explain how you physically can't watch your back because you can't move your head all the way around and there's a blind spot. And
you also can't kiss your own elbow.
So then we have, it's a new day. Yes, it is.
Did they do a New Day TV?
No, Xavier had a match.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get any of that.
Xavier wrestled T-Bar. Oh, guess this isn't a match Mike's going to pill to see.
Yep. Because Hula has decided if WWE is cutting the show to feed over to Hula, they have decided that Retribution is not worth the effort.
And most of the black guys. So Xavier drop kicks T-Bar out of the ring. It looked great. And then a hell of a knee to the face. T-Bar knocks, like he just pow upside of Xavier's face. T-Bar wins. I can't believe I just typed that. T-Bar wins.
You should have drafted T-Bar as opposed to Xavier
Beats
Woods.
Xavier Woods.
Yes.
Now, what does Randy think? I don't care.
Recap, Triple H and Randy from earlier. Recap, Riddle and Bobby Lashley from last week. Match 4, Riddle versus Bobby Lashley for the U.S. belt. Riddle jumped before the bell. Riddle gets mouth busted open. Lashley throws Riddle over the top rope like a child. Riddle gets destroyed for no fucking reason.
Yep.
Riddle taps out. Winner Lashley, 1 star. Riddle calls out MVP. Why? Riddle then beats up MVP. Why? And now drops Lashley, about to win, and then spear from Lashley for the DQ. Riddle then gets destroyed again. What the ever-loving fuck was this?
Okay, so first of all, I saw something completely different. Lashley beats Riddle for the belt. Yes, okay. So there were 3 times where that bell could have been rang. There were 3 times where they didn't ring the bell. Riddle busted him out. Lashley acting like Riddle owes him money, like he just beat him.
Yes.
Riddle turns the tide, flipping all over him, but the pure strength of Lashley. I actually saw a 3-star match out of this. I saw good, it looked good. It looked convincing. It looked...
The only thing I liked was the fact that he chucked him over the top rope like a rag doll, and then tried to do the same fireman carry run into the ring post that they did from the previous week that I'm glad they didn't do, which then caused Riddle to slide off and shove Lashley into it, and then the match was over.
Okay.
Because then he tapped out. Like, whatever you saw a combination of the last 4 weeks of television in one match. I saw this week's match, and it was not good.
Okay. So, then...
And then Riddle says, "Hey, bro, Lashley, you beat me. MVP. Bet you can't."
Right. Yes, we talked about that already. All right, so
My wife looks at Riddle and goes, "Is that mushroom tattoo on him finished?" And I was like, "Yeah, he's had it for a while. I think so." And she goes, "Oh, that's not good."
Yeah. So then we have AJ and Adam backstage.
Nope.
So AJ and Adam Pearce backstage. AJ enters himself into the Royal Rumble.
I love that the wrestlers are putting themselves in the Rumble.
Then you're going to love this next part. Drew Gulak walks up with a new fresh haircut.
I did see Drew's haircut.
Drew says,
"I'm in the Rumble.
I'd like to..." Drew Gulak goes, "You know what? I'm entering myself into the Royal Rumble too." And Pierce goes, "No, you're not." "Well, he just did it. I'm getting wrestlers all over the place." He goes, "Yeah, but you're not AJ. You haven't held the belt. You don't earn you haven't earned the belt. You haven't earned the ability to enter yourself in because you're."
We had a lottery and we had qualifiers and we had things where people had like the bingo wheel that they would pull numbers out of. But no, people just walk up and go, "I'm in the Rumble."
But AJ just did it.
This roster is looking thin if you think about the people who aren't there right now.
So AJ goes, so Adam Pearce goes, "Sure. Fight AJ. You beat him, you can be in the Royal Rumble."
As I understand it, everyone likes Drew Gulak and thinks that he is a great wrestler. I've never seen it. And it might be because of the fact that I'm tainted from the drunk guy who was in the 3rd row when we went to go see SmackDown in Seattle, who loved Drew Gulak when he came out and was
But that was back with 205.
Screaming about how awesome and screaming for Daddy Drew Gulak to be like the hero for it. And I think at one point I looked over at Joey and said, "If security doesn't kick him out, I'm going to punch this man."
So Drew shows a lot of promise at the beginning. Lots of 2 counts. Drew looking strong.
Maybe it's because there's 2 guys named Drew on the card that they just don't want to push him.
AJ has had enough. He throws him out. And we have this shot of Drew laying on the ground for probably 30 seconds.
Okay.
And then his foot enters the frame.
I did watch the almost sidekick to the guitar.
That was pretty impressive, wasn't it?
It was.
And then we see the camera go. The camera had to have been the guy had to be on his belly. And then he goes up the Jolly Green Giant. And then he comes back down. And we do this 4 times. It was just to show it was almost porn, basically.
Yes. Can I throw AJ back in the pool and take out Omos? Because apparently they forgot how to book AJ Styles, and they're basically making him the same whiny heel that he was in TNA.
AJ wins with the phenomenal form. It was a 3-star match. Drew Gulak is a good wrestler.
Yeah, Drew Gulak's a good wrestler. But if you're not going to do anything with him to make him good and put him on the Daniel Bryan side level, just put him back to being a trainer, which is what you hired him for to begin with.
Promo with Keith Lee?
Which part? Is this Keith Lee and Hunter?
Yes.
No. Recap. How cool is Bill Goldberg? Well, in WCW he was. Just ask Eazy-E.
Wow, I did not have a Goldberg promo.
Oh yeah, they did a Goldberg thing where they literally showed nothing but footage from him from WCW being a monster, and then him showing up in WWE when he dropped Brock and beat
Oh
Reigns
yeah,
at the
no, I
title.
get to see that.
They didn't show anything about him being a floundering fucking mess when he came back for the 1 year he did, for the stint he did where he was the champion, and then him and Brock had the WrestleMania 20
So
match.
Keith Lee's like, "Hey Hunter, you've been there for me.
Oh my God! Yes,
You've trained me. You've brought me under your wing.
He did the best thing.
Let me do this for you.
Yes, he said, if you say the word, I got this.
I'll do this for you."
This was awesome.
He's
and
like,
it made Keith Lee lovable.
You're too tired. You've already had 2 matches.
You've got COVID. Go get tested.
And then we had the women's match instead.
You had a women's match? I go directly to Hunter.
Oh.
Oh, by the way, Hunter says, I didn't come here for this. I came here for official business. What business? And then Hunter goes, this is my mess. I cleaned it up. And he puts on his leather jacket and...
Yeah. So now we have Nia and Shayna versus Mandy and Dana.
By the way, Hunter, good shave on your head, man.
Pretty dominant match by Nia and Shayna, to no one's surprise. The Blondes
Didn't we call this last week what was going to happen?
The Blonde do get some offense in. Nia was about to win, and Shayna tags herself in for the win. 1-star match.
Isn't this the same program that's running parallel right now with the Hurt Business?
Yeah. So
About the people arguing. Wait, didn't we have this happen earlier too with Keith Lee and Sheamus?
Right, that's why you
didn't
didn't get 6. I've already seen it.
Didn't we have this happen on SmackDown where they tagged each? Didn't Billy do this where she tagged herself in from? Was that a stop fucking talking kick or was that? Okay. He kind of bumped my leg under the table with his foot. Like, shut the fuck up.
So, my father-in-law. So when we watch wrestling, Dad's in charge of the remote. So there's some things that I don't. He's like, screw the entrances. We don't need to watch people's entrances. We don't need to watch the recaps.
You definitely did not need to watch 5 minutes and 32 seconds of Roman walking to the ring.
Right. So why was there no referee?
Because this was going nowhere.
Triple H and Randy Orton. Was there a bell? Was there? Because there was no referee. How was there a winner of this match?
Hunter spits COVID on the non-existent crowd with his water spray that was dripping out of his beard at one point. Hunter keeps the Motorhead shirt on. I pause this when Randy came out and they start to go. There's 5 minutes left in the show on my recap. And the only thing I could think of was I was like, well, this is a whole bunch of plot. So
was there a match? Why was there no referee?
No.
Why was there no? What was the point?
I
mean, I know what the point is because I've watched the rest of the show.
There was... They could have just done this in the back room. In a locker stage or something.
But it looks such cooler when half the lights go out.
Okay, we're going to get there.
Foreshadow.
So, the reason why we're going to get there is... So, I look on the Facebook, right? And the WWE Facebook, because sometimes when a bunch of stuff comes through, I try and catch it, so that way I kind of know what I'm looking for if I miss something on the show, right? So if I miss an angle or I missed a spot or something, usually WWE will recap and put a good thing up. People were just so ecstatic that Hunter and Randy were back, and this was awesome, and they were great, and this is real stuff, and everybody on the roster sucks. And the only thing I could think of was, that big Texan sumbitch Keith Lee is the best fucking thing I've seen in how many years? Regardless of where he's buried at, AJ Styles is probably one of the top 10 wrestlers in the world. Matt Riddle is in a shit spot, but he's a hell of an athlete. Legitimate UFC competitor. Bobby Lashley, legitimate Bellator competitor. Nakamura, legitimate.
Daniel
Triple
Bryan.
H had to keep his fucking shirt on.
Okay.
He was the out-of-shape white guy at the pool who didn't want to take his top off.
So, let me go.
Hold on.
Let me go.
Because I just want to talk about the one spot that I will say that was unfortunate. Randy got the side of his face busted open because Hunter shot him into the steps, and Randy clips his cheekbone on the side of it, and that thing started from a drop to a gush.
I'm glad you
pouring
brought
out
that.
the side of his face.
I'm glad you brought that up,
and it gets all over Hunter's head.
And I'm glad you brought that up because we're going to talk about that in a minute. No, let me
go.
Stop.
Go.
So I write, there's no ref. How do we know when there's a winner? Oh, Triple H gives Randy the Randy bump. Yay. So where's the sled show? There it is.
Yep.
And then bleeding. Some lights go out. Triple H looks confused. He doesn't watch his own program. He's too busy making wonderful things happen in NXT.
No, because Hunter couldn't believe the fact that there's a fucking entity haunting the Thunderdome.
Then he picks up his sledgehammer and it's on fire.
My wife was watching this with me. And by the way, hon, I'm going to plug your thing here in a second.
So
she busts out laughing and goes, "The metal's on fire. What is this?" Because
and he's like,
as soon as the lights went dark, she goes, "Why did half the monitor banks go out?" And I was like, "Remember Bray's haunting the ring?" And she got giddy. She's like, "Ooh, the guy in the mask?"
Now it's all dark. The fire goes out. Oh, sorry. Triple H is like, "I didn't do this." Now
yes, you did, because you pushed the flame button.
Now it's all pink. Here's Alexis.
We're run happy day. Da, 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 da. Yeah.
And then there's my first thought. Here's the next thing. Come on. I'm thinking it as Dad says it out loud. Where'd Randy's cut go?
Pre-taped.
Because his cut is missing.
This looked so awful pre-taped. Like pre-taped while they were like setting stuff up, because it looked like it looked like they had a sheet over the backside of where everything was at, because they. Oh my god.
Where did the
Hunter wields a
Where's the
magical
blood?
flaming hammer. Triple H disappears.
Oh yeah, he did disappear.
Alexa looking smoking hot. I see the joke with the fire because she goes and a fireball shoots out of her hand and hits Randy in the face, and Randy's going, "Oh god, oh god!" And my wife goes, "Okay, he's a pretty good actor. He's doing all right." And I was like, "Yeah, he had a movie. It didn't go very well." And then he kept going, and she goes, "Oh, I see why. This is getting so bad."
Yeah, they so last week Raw too short. This week Raw too long. You should have cut that like way.
Yep. Alexa casts Firebolt, and she rolled a 20 because she hit him right in the face.
Because after a while, you could see his face and saw there was nothing wrong with it.
I'm assuming. So a show goes off the air. I wrote down, "Fuck this shit," -3 stars. Orton is blinded. I hope that the storyline is Orton is blinded. I want to talk about this real quick. So my wife, who is supportive and loving and wonderful, and I was talking to another friend of ours about the show and what we're doing, and because he's watched the show and he saw the fire thing where they murdered Bray Wyatt, and I'm losing my shit about it. And he goes, "Oh yeah, that thing." And she's like, I was like, "Yeah." And it was dumb because when we talked on the show about Alexa coming out and she tried to immolate herself, it's like, I don't understand why the first week, the Monday night after the pay-per-view where Randy murdered Bray, she was in the playground scape of her mind, all super happy and everything, and had talked to Bray that he's rejuvenating, and then the next week she's freaking out and trying to get Randy to set her on fire, and Randy refuses it. I was like, it should have been backwards, and my wife goes, no. It's like, you gotta realize, she was interpreting Bray. Bray wasn't there. She hasn't been able to talk to Bray now. She's losing her mind because of it. You got to go deep in the psyche for this. She goes, I'm going to give you the female perspective of what I want. My wife booked 6 weeks worth of television for WWE.
It's going to be interesting if it's the thing I read.
Things Joe Beth would like to see happen. Crazy Girl thinks Bray is talking to her. Crazy Girl has match with Douche. Halfway through, she gets possessed by Bray and has mask on. She wins the fight.
Is Douche Randy Orton?
Douche is the Randy Orton.
Okay.
Yes. She would like to have about 3 swing set promo skits to the show to show her rapid mental deterioration and her belief that Bray is still alive. Randy cannot believe that he lost, demands rematch. During rematch, Alexa transforms and is taken over by Bray. Bray fights Douche. Plus, she would like to see maybe a title match and a gripping storyline to draw in a bigger crowd. She thinks that this is an easy storyline to sell, and it makes a good filler episode for it. My wife booked better television, and when this happened, she goes, ooh. She goes, I bet Randy will have the white contacts in now. Like Alexa has got when she flicks the eyes and stuff, because she's thrown the possessed fire in Randy's face, and Randy's going to come back and be blinded next week, and he's going to peel the thing off, and he's going to have the white contacts in. And I looked at her, and I was just like, we like wrestling for 2 different things.
There's a reason, Joe Beth, that he's too nice to tell you why that won't work. I love everything you've written with the one problem. And the one problem is that Randy has already worked for Bray once. He's already been possessed by Bray once. They did that a few years ago.
Wait.
He pretended to be.
Wait.
The whole white contacts thing.
You mean that wrestling will never, ever recycle a storyline that they have already done previously?
Touche.
Didn't they just actually recycle this?
Touche.
Of its own? This is a copy of a copy of a copy.
Touche.
That's a triple shade right there.
So,
what the fuck are we talking about next week? God, man, Raw and SmackDown have just hit a decline.
I read an article today about the brilliance that is Alexa Bliss and all of this, and that is she is taking the final form of the chick in a horror movie.
Yeah.
She has become the Michael Myers. She has been the victim for too long. And I don't really think that she was ever really the victim. What are we going to talk about next week?
You know, we were so prepared, we forgot the point of the show. Have a show.
The problem is that we also don't get as much crossover when we're at the store anymore.
That's true.
You've got stuff to do and you leave it, so we don't ever talk.
Yeah.
So tomorrow we will come up with the next 3 to 5 weeks worth of shows.
Yes, we will line this down. I would like to thank our guests for coming in and hanging out with us tonight. I would like to thank Mr. Ron for donating the Winged Eagle title belt for the prize pool for it. I hope to stomp the shit out of everyone, but man, the roster that everybody picked is deep. It's good. We've got the Rumble coming up. We've got reevaluations coming up if we want to go into it. And you know what? This is going to be some
stuff on the
good
table still.
Stuff and people left in the pool that I think are they're all-stars, man. And I didn't get nearly as much NXT UK guys as I wanted.
I know.
So thank you guys very much for participating and joining in. If you want to play along with the draft, we're going to have our rules up on our page for everybody. Do you have anything to cap us off?
Nope.
Good night, everyone. Take care of each other out there.